More than half of people are not getting enough exercise. In fact, only about 47% of adults are meeting the recommended amount of physical activity each week, which means more than half of people are not even reaching what their body actually needs. And I think most women hear that and immediately feel like, I already know that. I should be doing more. I just don't have the time. I'm too tired. But here's the part that no one really explains. It's not as much as you think, because when you break it down, the recommended amount of exercise is 150 minutes per week. That's it. Not hours every day, not long workouts, not exhausting yourself. Just 150 minutes. Welcome to the Bloom and Beyond podcast. Today, we're going to talk about what that actually looks like and how to make it realistic in midlife. Because in this stage of life, movement just isn't about weight. And I think that's where a lot of women get stuck. We've been taught to think of exercise as something that we do to change how we look. But in midlife, it becomes so much more important than that. It's about maintaining muscle. It's about supporting your metabolism. It's about stabilizing your blood sugar. It's about improving your mood and reducing stress. And it's also about protecting your long-term health. Because regular movement has been shown to significantly reduce the risk of chronic diseases. Things like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even some forms of cancer. It supports bone health, it helps reduce inflammation, and it improves overall quality of life. So this isn't just about checking a box. This is about supporting your body in a really meaningful way. The encouraging part is you don't have to do extreme workouts to get these benefits. You don't have to spend hours in the gym. You don't have to be exhausted at the end of it. That 150 minutes a week is enough to start making a real difference in your health. And when you think about that, it's actually very doable. But most women don't experience it that way. Because exercise has been framed as something that has to be all or nothing. It has to be long, and it has to be intense. So if you don't have an hour, or you don't have the energy, you end up doing nothing. And that's where the problem is. Because it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Movement counts. Walking counts. Short sessions count. Even 10 minutes counts. And this is where I want to say something really important. A lot of women say, I just don't have time. But you do. You have 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes that you can give yourself. And that's all you need to start. Because what happens is this. We tell ourselves, we'll do it later. After this, after that, after everything else is done. And then it just keeps getting pushed off. And when it keeps getting pushed off, it doesn't happen. And over time, that starts to impact your health. Believe me, experiencing the negative impact of lack of movement has affected me. I dealt with high blood sugar levels, a broken femur due to osteoporosis, inflammation, and once my health began to impact my everyday life, I began making changes. I don't want other women, or anyone for that matter, to wait until you face health challenges before you start to be proactive. So instead of waiting for the perfect time, just take the 10 minutes, because those 10 minutes matter. Because 150 minutes a week is not as overwhelming as it sounds. It could look like 20 to 30 minutes most days. It could be 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes later. It could be a short walk after meals. And even something as simple as walking after meals can support your blood sugar. It could be taking a quick walk between some of your tasks. It could be doing a short strength session a few times a week. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to happen consistently. And what matters most in midlife is not intensity. It's consistency. Doing something regularly. That will always be doing something extreme once in a while. And this is especially important when your energy is not always predictable. Because let's be honest, midlife energy is different. Some days you feel good. Some days you don't. And if your plan only works on the days that you feel good, it's not going to be sustainable. So we have to create something that works on your real life days. Walking is one of the most effective things that you can do. It supports your blood sugar. It helps regulate stress. It improves cardiovascular health. And it's something that most people can actually stick with. And then there's strength. You don't need intense workouts, but you do need some form of resistance because muscle becomes incredibly important in midlife. It supports your metabolism. It supports your joints. It helps prevent injury, and it plays a role in reducing your risk for chronic disease as well. And again, it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be simple. A few exercises with dumbbells, resistance bands, body weight movements, all of these done consistently. If you've been feeling like you're behind or you're not doing enough, I want you to take a deep breath here because you're probably closer than you think. You don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need a perfect routine. You don't need to suddenly become someone who loves working out. You just need to start where you are, and you build from there. I felt like a failure when I knew I had not been doing what I should have been doing. But then I started to take some time for myself to move more, and the benefits became apparent almost immediately for me. So if you're not sure where to start with 10 minutes a day. That's it, 10 minutes. Because something is always better than nothing. And those 10 minutes matter. They support your body, they support your health, and they support your future. And they add up. And when you start to see movement as something that supports you, not something that you have to be perfect at, it becomes a lot easier to stay consistent. That's been my experience too. You don't need more pressure. You don't need more rules. You just need something that fits your life right now. And when you do that, everything starts to feel more manageable and more sustainable. If this episode helped you, please make sure that you're subscribed to the Bloom and Beyond podcast because I don't want you to miss what's coming up next. Because we're going to keep making this simple and realistic for midlife. Thank you for listening.